Hey everybody, welcome back to Success Live here at Universal Studios. I've got a great guest for you here, my friend Patrick Jinks. I'm going to read you a little bit about his bio. Patrick Jinks is an inspirational speaker, trainer, facilitator, author, and most of all, coach. Patrick's company, The Jinks Perspective, helps leaders and their organizations achieve clarity, simplicity, and alignment in their work. As an award-winning professional photographer, Patrick learned the value of viewing challenges through the right lenses to achieve success. His unique, fresh approach to strategic planning and leadership coaching takes organizations beyond the tired, conventional planning process that produces little value. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Patrick Jinks.
Thank you. Nick, my friends who know me know that I like to start with inspirational quotes. So as Winston Churchill once said, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm paraphrasing. I think it went something along that line. I am very energized to be here today with all of you. There's success in the room. You can feel it. It's very thick. I'm honored and humbled to be here on the Success Live stage to talk to you about something that's very, very passionate for me, and that is the topic of leadership. I have a keynote that I've delivered at college commencements and conferences and things on a topic that I call lessons in leadership that I didn't get from a book or a classroom. Of all of the lessons I've learned about leadership that I didn't get from a book or a classroom, one reigns paramount. You ready for it? So this is the important one. So I'm going to move in. I'm going to get you to get your pen and paper if you're taking notes. This is the one. If you don't get any of the other lessons, this is the one I would want you to get. So here we go, leaders. Here's the lesson. It's not all about you. As a leader, it's not all about you. Wow, Patrick, that's edgy. It was kind of rude, a little arrogant, a little condescending. You kind of got in our face with that. Why do you have to do that? Why the attitude? Because I don't want anyone in here to make the mistakes I've made that it took to get me to learn that lesson. But if it makes you feel any better, there's a part B to the lesson. Maybe this is a little softer. So part A is it's not all about you. Part B is some of it is about you. Feel better? Some of it's about you, but it's not all about you. Let me explain. The first time I became a CEO was of a small nonprofit organization in Virginia, about $1 million budget, 5 staff. I was confident, I was ready. I had been in management positions. This was the first real leadership position I felt like I had. So I was excited to get going. I was excited for the team to experience my great leadership style that I was going to bring to them. I was absolutely 100% confident that we were going to do amazing things. At least I felt like I had to project that confidence. But I had a staff person who had been there 20 years. She was the finance director. She was amazing at her job. She was exactly the kind of person, if you're running a nonprofit organization, the resources of which the public has entrusted you to steward, you want this person to be your finance director. The problem was, on all of the leadership scales and spectrums, we were completely opposite. So if you are, for example, familiar with the DISC assessment, maybe many of you know of the DISC assessment. I'm a high D, which stands for dominance, driver, decisive. I'm that kind of command and control leader, big picture, short answers. When a high D asks you a yes or no question, they expect to hear one of two things. Yes or no, that's right, that was me. My finance director was the opposite. She was a high C on the DISC assessment, which stands for cautious or conscientious or careful. Not the bold, risk-taking leader that I am. Two conflicting styles. But she was fantastic at what she did. In fact, a high C is kind of what you want as a finance director of an organization. Very detail-oriented, very good at what she did. She had this one little thing that just bothered me. She would come to me and ask permission or approval for little things that didn't really require my permission or approval. And I kind of got a little bothered by it. And the first few times I kind of reminded her gently, hey, I trust you. You don't need to come to me and ask me about that. If you need to, take off early one day, or if you need to, submit a report without my signature or something, you've been doing this for 20 years. You're great at it. You're perfect at it. You never made a mistake that I've seen. I totally trust you. You don't have to ask me these things. Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to kind of check all the boxes and make sure I'm covering all of the bases. One day she came to me with one of these approval type things, and I snapped at her. I was just kind of tired of it. I'm a high D. I'm kind of like that. If you know Brian Regan, the comedian, he talks about the me monster that is always feeling like he's the center of the universe and everything needs to kind of revolve right there. So I needed her to fit into my leadership style. I'm in the D box. I need you to live in there, right? Need short, quick. I need you to be the CEO of your role and not require a lot of approval and affirmation and these kinds of things. I just need you to do that. Me, my model. So I snapped. I said, look, not only do I not require you to come to me for approval for these things, I need you to stop coming into my office with these kinds of things. I just need you to stop. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of my time. I trust you. I don't know how to be more clear about this. Please. Well, with her tail tucked between her legs and her head bowed, she kind of backed out of the office and said, I understand. I'm sorry. I'm just checking all my boxes, covering all my bases. When she left, the guy on the stage came to me and got in my face and said, it's not all about you. Like, hey, what are you doing? You are taking the assets, the tools, the core values that this woman has, that she operates off of, that make her successful, that make her good at what she did. Those assets that you need, why are you trying to take those away from her? You see, in her leadership style, form, structure, process, protocol, systems, construct, framework, play by the rules, stay in the book, do it right, measure twice, cut once, detail orientation, cover the bases, check the boxes. Why would you want to take that from her when that's what makes her great? That's not leadership. It's not about me. When she came to me the next time, and of course there was a next time, it's how she operates. She needed to leave early one Friday. And she kind of told me why she needed to, and I decided to take 20 extra seconds of my time and say, okay, have you sent the budget to the treasurer for the board report next week? Yes, got it, he's on it, it's all good, we're covered. Of course it was. Okay, how's the audit coming? They were just here yesterday, they'll be back in 2 weeks to wrap it up with an interview for you. It's all good, they said it went very smooth. Excellent. I said, could you do me one favor? Could you make sure that you go to the receptionist and just let her know if you're leaving early. Just let her know when you're leaving, so if the phone rings or someone's looking for you, she kind of knows. And maybe you could forward the calls to me if that'd be okay. Is there anything you need for me to cover while you're gone? Is there anything any of us need to kind of do or think about while you're gone Friday? She said, nope, everything's covered. We're all good. I don't need any help. Of course she didn't. But she needed me to ask. She needed me to pause and give her the structure and the system. She needed me to help her check those boxes. She had them checked. She wanted me to check them with her. That gave her that firm feeling of, I'm operating in my zone as a leader. And the 20 extra precious seconds it took off of my life to give that to her gave me in the end a 10-year, probably the most productive, loyal, dedicated, faithful, high-performing employee that I ever had in my entire career. It's not all about you. But some of it is. I always think of the one night I had to share a small bed with my older brother. 10 years older than I was. I was 7 at the time, he was about 17. We had a bunch of family over, so we had to bunk up together, and it was kind of exciting, only we were in a really small bed, and we had one of these small little itchy army blankets. If you've ever slept under an army blanket without a sheet, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We were grateful for it because it was cold, but we were kind of struggling and tussling a bit for the blanket, and he said, dang, Patrick, you got half the blanket. I was 7. I said, hey, Einstein, I'm supposed to have half the blanket. Some of it's about me. Some of it is about you as leaders. Here's the lesson that I think is helpful to think about. I had a CEO call me, CEO of a national nonprofit organization, branches all over the country. They do ministry, they do service to disability, they have social enterprise, they do lots of health and human services, huge organization. And she called me up wanting some executive coaching for some of her team. And I said, okay, well, let's talk about that. She goes, I've got an executive director here and I've got an executive director there, and I want to put this package together, get them executive coaching. And I said, okay, and are you wanting to be a part of that package? And she said, boy, I would love to. I could really use some executive coaching right now, but I want to put them first because I want to make sure that I give them the tools that they need. I'm not an effective leader if I'm not helping my team, so I want to put them before me. And great servant leader. Those of you that have studied servant leadership, you know, that's where the magic is. And I'm really admiring her. But I said, you know, I appreciate that. And we'll put whoever you need to in the package. But I said, if you don't mind going back, and I just, something caught my ear. You said you could really use an executive coach right about now. Can you tell me about that? Why do you say that right about now? She goes, we're growing by leaps and bounds. I'm traveling more than ever, so I'm out of my office. I'm having to kind of redevelop my style. I don't want to drop any of the balls that are juggling. We've got branches popping up. I've got new leaders coming on board. This social enterprise thing is blowing up, and I don't really want to miss anything. So I would love to have an executive coach, but we only have so much in the budget, and I really want to put my team first. I said, boy, I really appreciate that. I said, you know, you mentioned doing a lot of traveling, so you probably fly a lot. Do you remember what they say when they're going through the safety protocol in the plane? Do you remember what they say about the oxygen mask? Yeah, she knew it. She goes, yeah, they say in the event of a loss of cabin pressure, the oxygen mask will drop down. You pull the thing, it might not inflate, but there's still air flowing. Make sure you put the... And she stopped. And I could see her staring at me over the phone. And she goes, I got it. I said, what do you got? She said, I got it, I understand. Tell me, what do they say? I want to hear you say it. She said, they tell you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help others. I said, good. Why do you think they say that? Because that's kind of selfish, isn't it? You're sitting on a plane, someone's next to you, you want to help them out. Why do they say that? And she paused for a minute. She said, you're right. And I said, no, I want to hear you tell me why they say that. She said, because if I can't breathe, I can't help anybody else. I said, wow, that's powerful. Long story short, she put herself in the executive coaching package. I want to leave you with that. If you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. Leadership is not all about you. It is mostly about others. But if we don't take care of ourselves, continue to learn, continue to teach yourself, learn from others, keep your heart open, keep your mind open, listen, get work-life balance in your life, understand what that really means. Take some time for you. Spend some money on you. Go to a conference for you. Take a day off for you. So if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody else. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for allowing me some time with you today, and have an awesome rest of your event.